Hello. Great. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the part of our network we call the communication fabric, and a little bit about how the transformation and flexibility and agility that we built into the network helps support Liberty Mutual. So as part of the global network communications team, our purpose and responsibility is to ensure that the underlying network that connects our customers to our employees and our applications is resilient, always available, and of high quality, and that the services and tools that our team is responsible for are simple to use. Now, the communication fabric is a single voice and data network capable of linking omni-channel communications between Liberty Mutual and our partners. We've extended our on-premise network through co-location centers to connect up to cloud services. We have extensive connectivity. We connect today with AWS, Azure, GCP, Avaya, Twilio, Cloud9, and numerous business partners from a lot of these co-location centers. So the network is must be available at all times for voice, video chat, replication, voice communications. And we're making improvements in scale and deployments through DevOps skill sets. DevOps skill sets are known to improve employee engagement and team communication. We're definitely seeing that on many of our teams. Transformation that I want to talk about is to a customer-focused team that's focused on prioritization with embracing software development, cloud communications, and engineering excellence. Several of the folks on our team dialed their first outbound SIP call from our data center in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in 2010. That led the way for the consolidation and removal of circuits, equipment, numbers from over 300 domestic offices down into 2 data centers, consolidated into 2 trunks. They were OC3s at the time. And then we were challenged to build an additional resiliency, which we did by adding additional SIP connectivity, our full SIP stack, as we call it, it's a set of hardware. We built that into our 3rd data center, so now we frequently demonstrated the ability to fail all calls from data center A to B to C and then back. We often did that by synthetic network failures. So at the time, our contact center platform was built just in 2 data centers in an active standby configuration. So really the 3rd was more of a disaster recovery scenario, but it was nice to have that there. Fortunately, we never needed it, but it was there to prevent, if there was an outage, an access failure in either of the 2 data centers, or I guess both of the 2 data centers, we would ride an alternate carrier with alternate services from that 3rd data center to either of the first 2 to hit that contact center platform. So resiliency has been a cornerstone of some of our architecture in this space for many years now. We demand sub-second failover, and I think probably like many of you, we learned many years ago about how to build networks that support voice over IP. We did that when we first rolled out voice over IP to over an MPLS network to our contact centers at the time. I want to talk a little bit about the transformation of our teams and our skills. In 2015, our CIOs released a joint publication at the time known as the IT Manifesto. And it talked about the shared benefits of having a customer-focused, agile organization that was priority-driven, and it embraced software development and cloud computing. And there were a few things that really resonated with me and a few of the others at the time. But one of them was everyone is immersed in the features of the product and its capabilities. And we're definitely seeing that now. Our teams are really focused on a product. Some of them are systems administrators, others are software developers, but it's greatly improved the visibility and really the simplicity of all of our products across the global network communications team. The other one was, we have many things that we need to do well, but not everything is the most important. And that was new at the time, but for us, we're definitely seeing the improvements. We now have, it's okay to say no if you have something more important that you need to spend your time and resources on. So, these things were really important to us. The one thing, I think as an infrastructure organization we realized was that this really wasn't just about, a manifesto for Agile and software development. It really was focused for infrastructure improvements as well. And the last point of that IT manifesto that I used a lot, and in fact I used it at the time to secure funding for our software-defined network fabric in our data centers, and that one is, we need to spend more of our resources on new capabilities and less on the older parts of our portfolio. So that's what we did. But this communication fabric team, right, the team that supported the SIP stack at the time, was building an architecture, and they recognized the need to support this changing market conditions, right? So they wanted to build something that could take advantage of on-premise networks, cloud capabilities, multi-cloud capabilities. The first opportunity for this came when we vacated our first data center. A lot of the applications had already moved to the cloud. That was in Redmond, Washington. So we sold that building, and we replaced that SIP stack, that third leg that I spoke about earlier, in a colo in Ashburn, Virginia. And at the time it was just set up. We had some point solutions going on. We had our business was doing some testing with AWS Connect and Twilio for contact center as a service. And so we located our stack there, and that was a big benefit to us. And then another opportunity was to build connectivity in an internet DMZ. We had examples of Teams that at the time was fairly small. Teams is now our very large enterprise communications platform, and it uses that SIP the DMZ. And we're now connecting to numerous other contact center as a service providers over that internet DMZ. So the goal was to have a multi-vendor ecosystem, plug and unplug services. We've created a universal anchor point in the communication fabric so that it doesn't create stickiness with one vendor, allowing that, and that's really the flexibility that I wanted to talk about. Our internet-facing SBC platform was really that flexibility we needed for SIP connectivity over the internet that we still use today. And the Ribbon platform was really important to that. And we use that today to connect to Teams and Twilio, Avaya, Cloud9, and I think I mentioned those earlier, and a number of BPO partners as well. So our next focus, with the stability of the platform in place, and now located in Ashburn and Chicago, the focus was on monitoring and alerting to improve quality. So what we did was we paired up a lot of our software developers with our network engineers. And about 10 years or so ago, most of our organization was systems administrators. We moved away from the CLI and started embracing things like Python and Ansible, and mixed them with software developers, and really put those folks together to try to improve some of the problems that the team was facing, whether it was in uptime, release management, or monitoring visibility troubleshooting. And one of the things we worked here on this particular team was we put a large team together, and they figured out how to get a lot of the data that we've never had before from these the sources of data shown here. We've got CDR, NetFlow, SNMP, a lot of critical information, and really the best part is that we've got alarming and data alerts for a lot of these things. And the tools we used here were mostly available to us with AWS tools that our team was very familiar with. So you can see here, our team does support 300,000 calls a day. So as a result of that, really the stability has improved tremendously with this ribbon platform. And I mentioned that we've got an internet-facing platform. We also have the SIP trunking platform. Another advantage of that internet-facing platform is, that's really the platform we're changing. We're adding, we occasionally add new partners and capabilities, and allows the valuable SIP trunking platform to be sort of a set it and forget it model. But our resiliency monitoring and team visibility and monitoring that the team has built is shown here with some of these dashboards. Most recently we had an example of an alert with Moss that set off our team earlier one morning just a couple weeks ago, and Moss is usually a fairly stable number, so they've set an alert. It dropped. The data that they have associated with that indicated there was packet loss. They quickly found the source of that packet loss. It was one of the many inter-data center links. They removed the link really before anybody noticed. So that's really a tremendous change to the way things used to work 6 or 7 years ago. We're using S&P data from the ribbons, from the ribbon SBCs as well. A couple of interesting traps that we have that have proven valuable are the path check down. Right from our SBC, we're measuring the path to all those carriers I talked about earlier, the providers we talked about earlier, whether it's Teams or Twilio or Avaya in particular, but Cloud9 and some others. And the path check down just gives us an alert, sends a notification into our enterprise-wide event stream management platform, and from there we can send messages to Teams or to Slack. It'll open up a ServiceNow incident, which will page the folks. So really one of the biggest advantages here is the single pane of glass was really nice. At first it was great for troubleshooting. We took what we learned from troubleshooting, we improved the alarming, we improved the eventing, and now we're at such a point where we're not really using the single pane of glass very often. If our phones aren't blowing up, then we're pretty confident that things are going well. There's one note down here that I want to talk about is one of the S&MP messages that comes in, and it's a no PSX routes, right? So we've got a lot of numbers that we're responsible for. They make it into our platform, but we don't have a route for it, right? And that can be a problem if there's actually a destination that we didn't configure properly. But we've got a lot of syncs between our single source of truth, our telephony data warehouse I'll talk about in a second. But what the platform does is when it sees this error message, it'll go into our single source of truth and verify if that number is supposed to be active in the platform. If it's active in TDW, our single source of truth, it will also be active in PSX, right? So this message right here, you'll see in the very bottom says number found but not active in TDW, right? So we can just ignore this message because we know that it's not supposed to be an active route. And these calls make up about 1.5% of our calls every day. So this message was this automation was fantastic for us. So our teams manage many critical services. We've got inventory and management platforms in place to ensure that we meet the growing needs of the cloud services from our business. Our team has built a cloud-enabled inventory management platform. We use this to manage 145,000 individual phone numbers, 17,000 toll-free numbers. We need to be ready to provision these numbers fairly quickly. An example that I like to share here is this one with Volvo. It's just one of the many business requests that we get for numbers like this. You call this number and you'll hear, "Thank you for calling Volvo Insurance provided by Liberty Mutual." So yeah, we've simplified number management. The TDW is a big piece of that. We're building self-service capabilities for a lot of these responsibilities. And a good example of some of the self-service and automation that we built was several years ago when you all first started hearing those the new Liberty Mutual ads. As you can imagine, the access into the company and the number of calls we were getting, the volume in e-commerce, et cetera, it all really blew up. That meant we were hiring lots of contact center agents for many months, and with that goes along, there's also fairly high turnover there. So our team was responsible, one of our teams was responsible for onboarding and offboarding those new agents. And there was about 12 different applications that they use. So a lot of administration. It was mostly UI work that these administrators needed to go through. We built a robotic process automation that did that, and it went from having a single person, basically terminate all the accounts for a single employee from 12 minutes down to 1. So that was a big win for us. We also had the robot do the onboarding of new employees. And now what we're doing is, I mentioned the TDW. That's our number management platform. We now have the robot as part of the onboarding process, reaching out to our TDW's API, providing some simple routing information, name, office number, and our number management platform will respond back with a new DID for that new employee, and it will provision that in our PSX. That's also been a great win for us. This is our telephony data warehouse. It's just a view of the number management platform. We utilize our TDW as the entry and authorization point for any client wanting to interact with the PSX. And we're seeing 3,500 PSX API calls per month. It's the source of truth for all of our numbers. Years ago, our numbers used to be in different communication platforms, in PBXs and routing engines, in inventory spreadsheets from our carriers, inventory spreadsheets from our business partners. It's taken us quite a while, but all those numbers are now consolidated into our TDW. They've built great guardrails and really simplified the entire process. I mentioned that we've got an automated audit to ensure that any number that's active in the TDW is in our source of truth must also be active in PSX. That happens several times per day. Some of the APIs that we're using here, our team has built a REST interface in front of the PSX for a lot of their APIs, because the PSX is SOAP. But we use the routing label and standard route most often. So this is the next evolution of our SIP stack is really what I want to talk about. We want to simplify and expedite network and telecom services. The next evolution of that will be virtualized provision through infrastructure as code with orchestration. We expect a lot of simplification. We want to experiment with things like blue-green deployments and have additional call testing. Many years ago, when we were first building out our SIP stack, our process was very lengthy. We've gotten a little bit better, but it's still many nights and weekends. Our environments are dev, non-prod, and prod in 3 different locations that I talked about. When we do OS upgrades or we install new components, our team they have to have everything exactly perfect, and it's fantastic because once things are working, it's fine, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a team of people doing inbound and outbound calls, doing those synthetic network tests, failing over, looking at logs, bugs. I think everybody in this room has probably done this, right? But this is something that we've improved a little, and we really see the value of having something orchestrated and being able to simplify, build automated testing capabilities, and along with the better monitoring and visibility that we have in place today, I think we can really get this right. The picture here is we've lost interest in having taking the time to build out the contracts, the equipment, the racking, and the stacking of some of these larger boxes. And we're really moving in favor of something self-service, pay-for-use, API-driven. The the cloud native solution that Ram did a great job talking about yesterday in one of the breakouts. We've been working with Ribbon for well over a year now. We have confidence in that solution. We have done some experimentation this year. We're in a position really to make great strides with some sort of a POC or MVP in that in 2025. A goal of mine that we really haven't achieved yet, and I think it's possible with this orchestration, is each of the devices in our SIP stack, right? It's MPLS circuit or an Ethernet circuit. It's a customer edge router. It's an aggregation switch, session border controller, routing engine, firewall, cloud router. All those things have APIs. We want to be able to potentially virtualize it. Better yet, make it microservices. Orchestrate the entire build. Make it repeatable. I want to have the ability to quickly onboard a new service. So if the business comes to us and says, hey, we want to try out this new authentication platform, and they're built in Google, and you've got to get our a small portion of our voice connectivity over to Google so that they can inspect it and authorize it and send it back. We want to be able to build that connectivity, whether it's through Equinix, through the fabric, into Google, and be able to send those calls and make it repeatable, make it fast, right? So that it doesn't take 9 weeks, right? Those sort of self-service tools take my team out of the critical path of service delivery. And that's really important and really valuable for us. But talking to my team about technical debt, it's kind of how I've been viewing this. Right? We know sometimes with software development, most applicable with software development, you're making shortcuts to bring increased value today. You have to pay for those shortcuts at some point. It's kind of how I'm viewing this now. If we don't have the opportunity for our next lifecycle event to build out this virtualized cloud-native stack for us in a simpler, better orchestrated way, I feel like I'll be taking on technical debt, and I don't want to do that. And furthermore, I don't want to have to put the business through another one of those major lifecycle events where we've got downtime, a couple of weekends, 4 or 5 nights a week, using some of their resources and some of their testing capability. So that's this next phase is really exciting for us. We're interested in it. We have faith in the Ribbon team to execute on that, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm grateful for the partnership, and thank you for your time.